Aviva, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thanks for having me.
Exciting times, May 15th, bet on Netflix. How you all these previews that we're watching and everything, people are gonna get addicted to the show, I think. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I hope so, because that just means I get to keep doing this job, which I love so far.
From what I've seen so far, I'm enjoying the series. I'm not done with it yet, but I, I like it so far. At least I like the little mystery, the little stuff that's happening behind there. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And it's it takes place, anime, a little bit anime background with this. Do you have any impact on that? Any research you do on this thing before you jumped on the series?
For sure. I mean, when I auditioned, I didn't know it was based off of a manga. I didn't know
Yeah.
that they didn't give us any information about that. Like I auditioned for a character named Steph. So I
Oh
had
wow.
no idea. None of the names were the same as the show. So I didn't know what I was auditioning for. And then when I got into it and I learned more about the character that my character is inspired off of, it definitely like affected the way I played Dory a little bit, but then I wanted to make sure not to let it affect too much because I thought it might have actually been a strength for this type of show where it's like not a direct remake, but more of an
Yeah.
adaptation to kind of take some inspiration, but then follow my own, let myself have my own instincts with it too.
Hmm. So you mentioned Dory, but you said you auditioned for a role named Stephanie. Now, was this similar descriptions for these characters? How was it?
Yeah, it was so Steph is Dory. They
Okay.
just changed the name in the audition
Yeah.
because they didn't want people to know it was based off of the manga Kakegurui. They didn't want people to like know that yet. So
Mm.
it was like a secret name, like a
Yeah.
code name. Yeah.
So when you booked the role, did you go back now to figure out who Dory like with Dory and do some research on this character?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I watched some of the anime and our lead, Miku Martineau, she gifted all of us a copy of the manga.
Oh
So
wow.
I got to also like read some of that and yeah.
So what about what was the description you were given for like Dory after you booked the role?
Okay, so when I booked the role, I mean, when I got the audition, I guess it was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the name. So I just
Yeah.
want to be clear about that. But the way they described her, gotta remember, the way I would describe her now is that she's like a unpredictable, loose cannon,
Yeah.
eye patch wearing, stimulation addict, who just wants to find connection but doesn't feel like that's possible.
Mm. I like it.
Um, yeah.
I like it how at the beginning of the series too, like what kind of student would you say Dory is before Yumiko arrives and shakes up like the whole structure of the school?
I think before Yumiko arrives, Dori has this story that she's the actual powerhouse of the school. She's
Yeah.
different from everybody else. She doesn't play by the rules. She does her own thing. Like literally like she's not like other girls. She likes being the outcast and the one that stands out. And then when Yumiko shows up, it kind of threatens her view of herself and her
Yeah.
status and the whole student council status in the school too.
Mm. Is it fun playing a character like this? Like an outsider type of
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
You know what? Absolutely. And she is a lot like me in a lot of ways. Obviously,
Okay.
there's huge differences in terms of context and the way she grew up and the world that she lives in. But in terms of the things she struggles with, I actually related to her so much. And so I felt like I felt like confident I could
Mm.
give her this, um, I don't know, like I guess human edge to her crazy because I'm
Yeah.
like, I get her crazy. I have the
Mm.
same crazy. So yeah.
Mm. Did you approach Dory as someone with like her secrets of her own, or is she more of like a lens to the audience to experience like the chaos that's happening in this series?
Definitely has secrets of her own. I mean, we see that in episode 6. I won't spoil it, but
Yeah.
we see that she has some things she keeps to herself. But I think it's more so, it's a different, for a different reason than other people in the school. Like, I think that other people keep secrets for strategy or to keep, have an edge on other people or, for power reasons. And Dory keeps secrets because of shame and because she's
Mm.
afraid and because she doesn't want to be rejected. And I think like she is crazy in a way, and I don't like using that word. She's chaotic, and
Yeah.
kind of unhinged. And I think that a lot of that is overcompensating for really not liking to be the outcast, wanting to be loved, wanting to be part of something. But because she's not, she just overcompensates by being like, I'm an alpha, I'm the alpha wolf, I'm just like by myself.
Mm. One of the showrunners was it Simon Barry?
hmm
He's created some compelling like layers throughout his career and everything. What was it like working with him in this series?
It was incredibly collaborative, more so than really other. If you hear it scratching, that's the lizard just
That's
like running
okay.
around. Um, More so than anything else I've been part of, he was just really collaborative and pardon me, and pardon me again, and really easy to work with. And it was one of those moments where a lot of the time as an actor, I feel like a puppet sometimes and feel like
Okay.
I'm serving someone else's story. And like with this, it clicked for me that acting isn't just being a puppet. It's you're also helping tell this story, and you as a person are adding to what this character is and what that means for this story. So he was somebody that made me realize that just because of how much he trusted us and really collaborated with what we thought for these characters as well.
Mm. What's one advice that he gave you guys or the cast, or even just you?
Hmm. I think right away, the first thing that came to mind was after like a few days of working with him, he had not really given me that many notes. And
Okay.
I remember feeling like, oh, he hates me. Like, because I immediately just went, oh, he hates me. He thinks I suck. And so I went up to him and I was like, I'm kind of afraid. Like, why aren't you telling me what to do? And he, I don't know if it's really advice, but he really encouraged me in that moment and was like, when I see you doing your thing and like working something out, I don't want to get
Mm.
in the way. It's not that
Okay.
I think you're doing a bad job or or I don't have any thoughts at all. I do have thoughts, but I'm letting you figure it out first before I get involved. Because usually by take two or three, everyone kind of figures it out anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't get involved unless I have to. And so that was really an interesting way to go about that too. And I preferred that too. I loved that way of working because I am like that where I like to figure it out as I go. And when too many voices get in my head, because as an actor, you're thinking of so many things. You're
Mm.
thinking of your mark, you're thinking of your scene
Yeah.
partner, your objective, your lines, and then probably I'm wearing an eye patch, so I'm thinking about how I can't
Yeah.
see. And then sometimes when there's too many notes, it can get very distracting and cluttery. So that was one thing that I kind of took from him that was really
Mm.
cool. Yeah.
You mentioned the eye patch because I had a former guest on that played in a series with an eye patch. How long did it take you to get used to it?
It was so difficult that we ended up, if you've noticed, it changes a lot. Like my eye
Okay.
patch changes a lot because we had to keep changing it because the first one I wore ended up impairing my vision too much.
Oh
And
wow.
so like when I would wear it for long periods of time, and I didn't know this at first, and then I'd take it off, your eye kind of goes lazy because
Yeah.
it's not being used. So when I took it off, it's like I was cross-eyed and I couldn't like orient myself anymore. So that became a problem. And then we're like, how am I going to do stunts? How am I going to do like the dance revolution and the sword fight with one eye? Like I can't. So we had to change it to like a sunglass,
Okay.
which is what a lot of the eye patches are, is like a sunglass so I could see. And that was easier to get used to. And then sometimes I'd still have to wear a pad under the sunglass because you could see my eye. So I never really adjusted to it. It was more like I had to keep every time they called cut, I had to take it off.
Mm. The
Yeah.
big the big question now is Dance Dance Revolution. How good are you at that?
Would you believe me if I told you that that was harder than the sword fight to do?
I
Like
believe
I
I
have
can't do it.
two
That's why I'm asking.
I have two left feet and like I I thought going into it obviously that was going to be the easy one. And I'm like the sword
Hmm.
fight's going to be hard, but like Dance Dance Revolution is fun and it's just a game and it's
Yeah.
that'll be easy. And after my rehearsal, I couldn't walk for days after my
Wow.
first rehearsal because my calves were so seized up. And I had to go see like a massage therapist.
Wow.
It was like bad. I was limping everywhere. Um, and I did not expect that.
Mm.
It was really hard.
That's awesome. So the show is set, with a school where the gambling determines like social hierarchy. Like what fascinated you the most about like this concept?
Definitely that it kind of mimics global like power dynamics. I love the idea that all of these elite people, billionaires, people with lots of money are trying to raise their kids to be sharks. And that really compelled me to this because the story ends up being about these kids and how they're kind of like thrown into this world and it's all they know. But you see that they're just kids under it and they're just normal people really who want normal things that teenagers want.
Mm,
But they feel pressured to like live up to this like, yeah, crime lord kind
yeah.
of family business. And that really interested me about it.
Mm. I mentioned earlier about Yumiko when she arrived, in the school and everything. She threatens to unravel like things throughout this season. Like,
Mhm.
how would you say like Dory now fits in the world of like revenge, risk, even just manipulating some people?
I think Dory, the way I saw it was that Dory, less so than others, is like, sorry, more so than others, is like not playing the games in the same way, where other people are trying to. I really think in a lot of ways she's like Yumiko, where she's not
Mm,
trying really to win, I guess. She just wants to have fun. Obviously, it's a threat if you lose. But Dory's just so confident in everything that she does that like she doesn't consider losing. And I think that she just loves the thrill and really is in it for that because I think other than that, she hasn't really thought about the why
yeah,
or the what of her life yet. And I think we see that a little bit in this season of her starting to go, why do I do this? Like why am I doing this? Why am I going along with these
yeah.
people and these rules I don't believe in? And Yumiko kind of makes her see that.
Mm. Would you
I don't know if I
change
answered
anything?
the question.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. Would you change anything about Dory, or do you like the way she is?
Would I change anything about Dory? In terms of like the character or like
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
played her?
No, the character.
No, I would not change her. I love her. I think that like her having so after the show, I went and got diagnosed with ADHD because I playing a character with ADHD and um resonating so much with her made me go and get my diagnosis and I playing her healed me and I
Mm,
felt like really really proud to play a character that was so nuanced and complicated because she is really like scary and intimidating and strange and that somehow fits in the same world as her being caring and smart and loving and like good. Like you can tell she's good when she cares
yeah.
and she wants to care. And so all of those things about her and that duality in her is so fun for me to play. And also I'm proud to like represent that there is nuance to these people who are stigmatized because they're a little bit neurodivergent.
Mm. If Aviva was in that school, would you be friends with Dory? Would you want to be friends with her?
I think I would be Dory.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I would be friends with her because I think that
Uh,
Dory, I mean, like I said, like she sees Yumiko as someone,
uh,
well, Aviva, me, I see Dory and Yumiko as not that different, but Dory hates
mm,
Yumiko because
yeah.
she threatens Dory's like need to be different. And so if she saw me, I think she would just think I was a pretentious douche and
Mm.
probably try to duel me as well.
How do you feel like stepping into a universe of like such an intense following with like the anime, manga stuff, projects like this? Any
Yeah, it
pressure?
was totally. Oh my God, yeah. Like a
Yeah.
lot of pressure, especially going into it not knowing that that's what I was doing. Like when I booked it, I remember hearing like my agent called me. She's like, "You booked Dory." And I'm like, "Who is that?" I don't know who that is because I thought I auditioned for Steph, like
Right.
we talked about earlier. So I was like, "Who, what?" So going into it not having any idea like what I was getting into, it was a lot of pressure because as I'm researching the manga and the anime, I'm like, people do love this character of
Yeah.
Madari,
Yeah.
and I don't want people to think I'm trying to either imitate her and try to copy her
Yeah.
and try to be her because I'm not, but I also don't want to like crush people's dreams if they don't like my version of like this character. So
Mm.
it was a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, having the community we had on set and having like the intentions we did, which was to create something that we all felt passionate about, that we all loved, a story we all cared about, and characters that we all cared about. Kept coming back to that and just trusting that our version of it is going to be good in its own right,
Yeah.
and hopefully fans of the manga can and the anime can see that it's different and still appreciate it. And if not, that's okay.
Mm.
Like I
Yeah,
get it.
definitely. You're big in the music world. If Dory had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. That's such a good question. I listened to Grimes a lot when I was playing
Okay.
her. Um, I listened to Player of Games a lot by Grimes, and I
Mm.
feel like that one, that's her theme song.
Mm.
Or oh my God, or Yuck Fu by why am I forgetting her name? I don't remember the artist's name right now. But
So
Yuck Fu, there's only one song called Yuck Fu.
I'll have to
I'll
check it out.
remember her
I'll have
name.
to check it out to see if it matches the character. Well, what message or theme, and bet do you think it's going to resonate with the audience when they tune in? And what are you hoping to get out of this series?
Um, I think that the message people will hopefully take from this show is that you are not your circumstances,
Mm.
and um that you can, I mean, to me, I mean, that's just what I took from the show is from acting in it is like there's a difference between who we're told we have to be and who we really are. And I think that that's really the message I see in the show. And I hope that's what people take from the show and from my character. And I hope from this series, I hope to get, I mean, maybe sounds selfish. I just hope we get to do more. I hope we get to
Right,
do
right.
season two. I hope we get to keep building the world because season one is it's awesome. And it's a setup for like, here's who all these characters are. Here's the world
Yeah.
they're in. Here's what's going on. And it's like season two, we get to really evolve that and keep playing with it. And so I just want to keep living. Want to keep being with Dory.
Mm.
Yeah,
If we see a season two, is there somebody that you didn't have that many scenes with that maybe you'll get that in season two?
for sure. Me and Rami, who plays Rex, and
Okay.
Ryan, who plays Suki, we discussed um, we discussed that we wanted to have more scenes together, the three of us, because especially because it just became like Rex is very much like a dog, literally, and acts
Yeah.
like a dog and whatever. And like Dory also like barks and meows and has that animal side, and I would like to see what they bring out of each other.
Amazing. So we have bet on Netflix May 15th. Is there a message you want to tell the fans before we end this interview? Because they're going to tune in to watch the series and hopefully the interview.
If you tune into the series, thank you, and I hope you
Amazing.
like it.
Amazing. Aviva, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. Let's get you back on future projects, hopefully a season two in the next year or so.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm hoping for
Thank-
it.